And he was just waving to his daddy on the way by.
I was just trying to protect my entry, and he didn't like it, but he lost and I won, so I don't really care.
He was just waving to his daddy on the way by. With that single sentence on his Actions Detrimental podcast, Denny Hamlin turned Carson Hocevar's middle finger moment at Indianapolis Motor Speedway into the most talked about controversy in the NASCAR Cup Series. But this feud did not start at the Brickyard 400. It started 3 years ago with a championship that was destroyed in the desert. To understand why Denny Hamlin fired back so hard, we have to start with the moment that lit the fuse. It happened on lap 91 during stage 2 of the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Carson Hocevar, driving the number 77 Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports, was running a lap down after an earlier pit stop. Ahead of him was Corey Heim, the race leader, driving the number 67 Toyota for 2311 Racing. As Heim peeled off toward pit road for service, Hocevar came down the track off turn 4, pulled alongside his rival at nearly 180 miles per hour and flashed the middle finger out the window. The television cameras from TNT Sports captured the entire moment, and within minutes. It became the biggest talking point of the race. But here is the part that made the moment sting even more. Hours later, Corey Heim was celebrating in victory lane as the Brickyard 400 champion, kissing the famous bricks after his first crown jewel victory in the NASCAR Cup Series. Carson Hocevar, the man who started the race from the pole position, crossed the finish line in 9th place. Now let us set the stage properly, because the full weekend tells an even bigger story. Carson Hocevar was genuinely fast at Indianapolis. He won the pole for the Brickyard 400 and led the race early. On pure speed, the number 77 team had every reason to believe this could be their day. On the other side was Corey Heim, a part-time driver making only his 15th career Cup Series start. Heim was already having a breakout summer, because back in June he won the inaugural Cup Series race at Naval Base Coronado in San Diego for his first career victory. The Brickyard 400 was not just any race either. It is one of the crown jewels of the sport, and this particular edition also hosted the finals of the Cup Series in-season challenge, where 25th-seeded Todd Gilliland beat 3rd-seeded Ryan Blaney for the $1 million winner-take-all prize after Blaney was collected in a 9-car wreck on lap 120. So how did we get to the middle finger? The sequence started earlier in the day. Hocevar had pitted from the lead in stage 1, but he got caught up in traffic and could not make up the ground he lost. Eventually, he fell a lap down in stage 2. During the green flag pit cycle, Hocevar blended back onto the track directly behind the race-leading Corey Heim, who immediately began aero blocking to keep the number 77 Chevrolet pinned behind him. Hocevar tried getting around the number 67 on fresh tires, but Heim threw a block every single time to prevent it. And here is a detail that reveals just how personal this was. According to reporting from Matt Weaver, Heim had let his team owner Denny Hamlin go by just moments before, but he did not extend such a courtesy to Hocevar. A few laps later, as Heim headed for pit road, the frustrated Hocevar delivered the one-finger salute that the entire racing world would be talking about for days. But this gesture was not born at Indianapolis. To find the true origin of this feud, we have to go back to 2023 to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship race at Phoenix Raceway. On lap 120 of that race, Corey Heim passed Carson Hocevar for 6th place, which made him the highest-running driver eligible to win the championship and provisionally in line to be crowned under that format. Seconds after being cleared by Heim, Hocevar first delivered a bump to the number 11 truck, then made contact that sent Heim around, ruining his hopes. Hocevar visibly looked disappointed in himself for spinning Heim and admitted over the radio that his contact was an accident, but mistake or not, Heim was not letting that slide. Later in the race, Heim got his payback, squeezing Hocevar into the fence and leaving the number 42 truck with heavy damage. Neither driver walked away with the title that night, as Ben Rhodes went on to win his 2nd championship, but the foundation of the feud was permanently laid. Heim made his feelings clear much later when he said, "He wiped me out for a championship." He does not hate Carson Hocevar, but he is not cutting him a break on the track anytime soon. Since that night in the desert, both drivers have carved completely opposite paths through the sport, and that contrast is exactly what makes this rivalry so compelling. Carson Hocevar has grown to embrace his hurricane nature. Whether it is ruffling veteran drivers' feathers with daring moves or showing his full, unfiltered personality over the radio and in media sessions. He has admitted time and time again that he is willing to go for wins at whatever the cost may be, drawing comparisons to a young Dale Earnhardt. His breakthrough victory at Talladega Superspeedway perfectly captured that identity, as he charged to the front late and delivered a one-of-a-kind celebration. Corey Heim has demonstrated to be the complete opposite. He finally collected that Truck Series championship last fall, breaking numerous records along the way, and inked a deal with 2311 Racing where he will drive the number 35 Toyota on a full-time basis next year after serving as the team's development driver. He has shown to be cool, calm, and collected not just in the race car, but even outside of it. Dave Rogers, the competition director of 2311 Racing, explained just how disciplined Heim has been. Turning down full-time rides, he could have been in cars full-time this year. He chose to be patient, do it right, come through our development program, and prepare for each of these events very thoroughly. One driver is chaos. The other is discipline. And they keep ending up on the same piece of racetrack. That collision course reached a boiling point in June of 2026 at Naval Base Coronado. Hocevar was running second with Heim hounding him for the position, and once again there was no shortage of contact. Heim bumped Hocevar in the chicane at Qualcomm Circuit, sending the number 77 Chevrolet around and leaving Hocevar with a 19th place finish after starting on the front row and scoring points in both stages. Heim, of course, went on to score his first career Cup Series win in San Diego that very day. When fans flooded social media to criticize the contact, Heim was ready to take exception on X, replying to Hocevar supporters by throwing Hocevar's own past words right back at them, saying, "Well, just get thee out of the way, and there wouldn't be a wreck. You know what I mean? Just move. Just move out of the way." The drama did not stop there. After the race, Hocevar asked Denny Hamlin for Heim's phone number. Hamlin later explained that he was unaware of the on-track incident and believed Hocevar wanted to congratulate Heim. Then, when Hocevar hosted the Dale Jr. Download podcast after San Diego, he publicly teased Heim about not calling into the weekly winner interview segment. "I was excited to do the interview," Hocevar said during the episode. "I was excited to do the winners segment here. They must not have cell service in California. Can't call in?" That brings us back to Indianapolis, and to the fallout that erupted the moment the checkered flag flew. Corey Heim was busy heading to pit road when the one-finger salute sailed out the window from Hocevar's number 77 Chevrolet. So it was not until Heim was with the crew of the TNT Sports post-race show that he learned his adversary signaled anything at all. Fresh off a victory lane celebration, Heim was completely unfazed. Handed him a big fat L, Heim quipped. He even posted a screen grab of the moment to his Instagram after the race. Hocevar, meanwhile, offered a sarcastic explanation for the gesture. "I'm just a fan, wanted to wave. He's number one. He won," Hocevar said. "It's fine, we don't like each other, but we race really hard and his stuff's super fast. Obviously, yeah, the car he's in, but he does a really, really good job with it. I'm looking forward to, when we get our stuff a little better, being in front of him and maybe holding him off." But behind the sarcasm, Hocevar also gave a surprisingly honest breakdown of why these two keep clashing. "We're both good at manipulating air, so a lot of times we're just pissing each other off," Hocevar said. "I mean, clearly for him he won, so he don't care. But for me today, I'm like, damn it. It just makes it more difficult than some of the other guys in the field you can take advantage of." He even admitted, "I wish they were still holding him out and running him part-time, because that's eventually a car I'll have to race." Heim defended his driving without a hint of apology. "I was blocking him, not really too bad, I thought," Heim said. "I mean, I was trying to just hold my position, and I never threw like a bad block. I was just trying to protect my entry, and he didn't like it, but he lost and I won, so I don't really care." And then came the moment that turned his press conference into an instant classic. After being posed with a third question about Hocevar, Heim asked the room where his rival finished the race. When the media answered in unison that it was 9th, Heim delivered the line of the weekend. "You guys love talking about a guy who finished 9th? I mean, holy crap," Heim said. "Yeah, I mean, all I did was make sure he stayed behind me, and I did, and I finished in front of him. I don't worry about a narrative or a genre, like he's got a ton of talent and he's going to win a lot of races, and I'm focused on myself and trying to do the same. That's really all there is to it." And on Monday after the race, Heim appeared on the Door Bumper Clear podcast and added one final jab saying, "In honor of Carson, I've got my ring on my middle finger." Then Denny Hamlin entered the conversation and everything escalated to another level. Hamlin's position here is unique. He co-owns 2311 Racing, the very team that fields Corey Heim's car. And he is also a Cup Series veteran who sits 9th on the all-time wins list. Hamlin had his own painful day at Indianapolis, finishing 5th after losing the lead on the decisive lap 127 restart, which cost him a shot at the only crown jewel race that has eluded him in his entire career. On his Actions Detrimental podcast, Hamlin initially tried to sidestep the topic, first saying, "I'm not talking about," before quickly sharing exactly what he thought. "I think he's playing chess, not checkers. I think he does dumb shit just to get people to talk about him when he finishes in 9th place," Hamlin said. Then came the line that spread across every corner of the NASCAR world. "And he was just waving to his daddy on the way by." Hamlin also pointed to Heim's recent dominance over Hocevar, including their meeting at Naval Base Coronado where Heim spun the number 77 on his way to victory, and closed the subject with 3 brutal words: "He owns him." Next subject. This was not even the first time Hamlin had weighed in on Carson Hocevar. Earlier in the season, Hamlin addressed a separate Hocevar controversy and offered a blunt assessment of the young driver's approach. "Emotional drivers do not do well in the Cup Series," Hamlin said, adding, "I have no issue because he's only hurting himself. He hasn't run into me directly yet. If that happens, we'll deal with that." And months before that, when a fan asked Hamlin about Hocevar on social media, he responded with an analogy that fans still quote to this day: "Puppies are great, but if they shit in your bed, you gonna just lay in it? Or teach the puppy where to properly take a dump?" So the question hanging over the sport right now is a fascinating one. Is Hamlin right that this is all attention-seeking behavior from a driver who finished 9th? Or is Carson Hocevar's unfiltered chaos exactly the kind of personality that the NASCAR Cup Series needs? Whatever the answer, one thing is absolutely certain: this story is far from over. Corey Heim will join the full-time Cup Series ranks in 2027, driving the number 35 Toyota for 2311 Racing, which means he and Carson Hocevar will share the racetrack every single week. Hocevar himself already saw it coming when he admitted that the number 67 is eventually a car he will have to race. And if we look at the scoreboard so far, Corey Heim leads this rivalry decisively. He got his payback at Phoenix in 2023. He spun Hocevar and won at San Diego. He blocked Hocevar, took the middle finger, and won the Brickyard 400 anyway. Hocevar even declared before all of this, back at Echo Park Speedway, "They can all stand up to the plate and bring it on. I don't know if anyone wants that war." Well, Corey Heim clearly wants that war. The NASCAR Cup Series has always thrived on great rivalries, from Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon to Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, and everything about Carson Hocevar versus Corey Heim suggests this could be the defining rivalry of the next generation. So whose side are you on, Carson Hocevar's fire or Corey Heim's ice? Drop your answer in the comments below and stay locked in, because the next chapter of this feud is probably not very far away.